Hi, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be learning 5 things: activity transition, then activity lifecycle, manifest file with activity and service, background music play using service, then the last one is Gradle dependencies. I will be demonstrating all these things in the Android Studio. So without further delay, let's get started. Okay, now we are in the Android Studio. So the first topic that we will be discussing today is activity transition. So before knowing regarding the activity transition, basically activity transition means when we are opening the application, there will be a launcher activity, and with any event, let's say we are creating a login screen, and when we are logging in, we will be going inside the application, so that will be the another application. So then means going from one activity to another activity is basically known as activity transition. But before knowing into this how we are doing it, we have to know the activity life cycles, okay? And also, so that is what we'll be understanding today. So let me take you to the developer site regarding the activity lifecycle diagram. I'll show you how exactly the activity lifecycle happens. Okay, if you see my cursor, now I am in the developer.android.com website, and here if you see the cursor, I am highlighting this part. This is basically the diagram of activity lifecycle. When you are clicking on any icon in the mobile device, and after that you are spawning the application, you are some screen is visible to interact. That is nothing but the activity, right? So when the activity starts, when the activity actually open, then what are the methods are called, what are the sequence of methods called in the activity, that is actually need to understand in this particular topic. So first method when the activity launches, that is onCreate, then second onStart, then onResume. After the onResume method will be getting called, we can able to interact with the activity. So now the activity is running. You can see this particular green rectangular box that is showing that activity is running, right? And there are some other sequence of callbacks also, like onPause, onStop and onDestroy. So when these three will be getting called, so right, so when now the thing we have to know the activity transition. Like first part is when the activity starts, these three methods called one by one, and now the activity is running. Now we are able to interact with that. Let's say one login activity, and we have to enter the user ID and password, and after that click on the login button. Now it will go to the another screen, right? So now the another screen will come, and what will happen to this, the first screen, the login screen, that is what it will happen to this sequence of calls will happen, like onPause, onStop and onDestroy. onDestroy will call depending upon the situation, but onPause, onStop will be called definitely, okay? Now, so this is what need to understand why this callback methods are there, and when to use it, that is very much important to understand, okay? And also there are some other methods like onRestart will also getting called when we are from one activity to another activity. When the transition happens, then the onRestart method will be getting called. Let's say when from the first activity to second activity, the transition already happened. Now we are coming back to the first activity by using the back button of the device, because in Android device there is a default back button in every device. We can just click on the back button and we can come back, right? Come back to the previous screen. So when we do that, at that moment that onRestart method will be getting called of the previous screen or previous activity. So that is how it happens. So all these I have created the sample demo application, and there I have overwritten all these methods, so you can understand like how this sequence of methods will be getting called, and we can see that right away, okay? So so this is the first activity, okay? The main activity I have already created this. It's the application is all about, it's a basically it contains two activity and one service. two activity why I have taken, because to make you understand the activity transition and the life cycle callbacks, how it will happen, how these life cycle callbacks will be getting called, and service, because service is one of the important component of Android, and that also being used here, and will be playing a background music using the help of service. So that also will be knowing. But first thing is, first you see this main activity, because why it is named as activity, because it extends this app compat activity, right? This is a Kotlin class. Okay, right? This particular main activity is a Kotlin class, the main activity.kt, correct? So this main activity.kt, which is extending the app compat activity. So this is what we are considering is as an activity. And now we'll be seeing like how it works. If you see, this is the onCreate method, right? This is the first method when the activity will be started, and in this method we have instantiated the view, because this is what we are this is the view means, because in the screen, in the login screen, you can see there is a screen, it has some edit field like username and password, and then the login button. Everything will be nothing but it's a view, and that view how it came, because it associated with this XML screen, right? If you see, this is actually in the Android Studio, you can see the code view. This is code and preview, both are available here, right? You can see the code and the preview both, and here only the preview. Let me go to this like both preview and the code, you can understand better. So this particular view, to make it, we have created this XML file activity_main. Inside this, the parent layout, I mean it's this layout is responsible to show this particular view. The parent element is the constant layout, because you know, we are mostly for the XML view creation, the constant layout is being used, and in the constant layout there is a you know, this text input layout. There are two text input layouts are there, right? And these are created using the help of material, Google Android material text field.text input layout. Basically these are comes under the material library. I will show you that in the Gradle file, how it dependence are been imposed in the Gradle file, right? And same thing is being created for the password as well. I mean both are having the same kind of view, right? Then last one is the material button, right? This is the last one. So, and every view has associated with an ID. This is the ID, because that ID will help to control it from the activity, because this is the XML file, but we have to put our logic in the activity file. Okay, how we can do it? Using the help of these IDs. Every view has an ID. If you see, this is the ID for the password, and this is ID, this is for password layout, but this is for that edit field, password edit field, and here is also for username edit field, this is a ID. So every view has an ID that will help us to use it from the activity, right? And now if you, one thing I want to let you understand that if you see this XML file name activity_main.xml, as per that there will be a here this activity main binding, as the name what you have given in the XML file, the same, as per the same naming convention, it will create a view binding here. So binding will be appended. If you see this first part, activity under activity main binding, this will be created automatically by this binding library. Binding library is added in the manifest file, in the Gradle file, right? I'll take you to that later, but you just understand how this binding works. So binding is basically just bring the XML to this activity, right? And we are doing this set content view to show that particular XML file. Here using the help of binding that login button is nothing but that ID of this login button. Inside that we are doing, we are fetching this value from the username field and the password field, and then we are doing something here. That is what the basic logic is being applied in the click event listener of that particular button. All right, okay. Now this is what in the onCreate method. If you see, there are some other overridden method which is implemented here just to make you understand. onStart method, onResume method, onPause, onStop, onRestart, onDestroy. So all these activity lifecycle callback method has been implemented, right? So that will be easy for you to understand. Now if I just copy this, like I want to like make you understand that in the another activity also, I'll just copy it. Now the second activity, that is music dashboard activity. So this activity will have a dashboard with a button in the center just to play a music. Okay, so just for I'll what I'm doing now, I'll keep some callback methods here to make you understand. Okay, now if you see onStart, onResume, onPause, onStop, onRestart, onDestroy is already there. I'll be removing it, no issues. Okay, so now we have placed other callback methods here. What we'll do, we'll be doing something to distinguish the difference, otherwise music dashboard. Correct. So that will be for understanding, we can do that. Fine. Okay. So now you understand there are two activities and how we are using this. Now next we will be going to this manifest file, Android manifest file. So as I have told you, in the manifest file, this file will be the when the Android application loads in the Android system, then this file will be getting read first. This file will have all these components which are already being used in this application. So there are three components we have used. You can see the first activity, then the second activity, and the service, right? So the first activity is a launcher activity. Launcher means the activity which will be first open. So that is why we have specifies this intent filter. Inside the intent filter there is action and category. There are two child components that specify this particular activity is a launcher activity, right? So whichever will be the launcher activity, we have to mention this intent filter in that. Intent filter I will be explaining later what exactly it is. So if you want to know more about this, you put your comments, I will be explaining in another video. Then another activity, that is a music dashboard activity, and exported false, that means no other application can access it directly, right? And in service also, name and the exported false means service cannot be accessed from outside of this app. That is for security purpose. That is usually it's a Android Android specific properties. So that is we can use it. Okay. So now this is all about Android manifest file. There are two activities already we have seen. Now let's run the app. We'll see the activity lifecycle callbacks, how it happens. Okay, let me run the app. Yeah, now you can see actually I am using a physical device, and even you can use emulator, but if you have the physical device, that is better. You can get good experience with the physical device. That is actually the practical behavior you can get from the device. That would be great actually. Yeah. So now in the first screen we have a username and password field, and there is a login screen. We have not added any kind of logic here for authentication and any validation. We can just, for your understanding, let's say you are entering some username, or even if you are not enter also that works, password, just for your understanding. Now click on login, it will go to the next screen. Now if you see, the callback methods are happening, the callback methods of the activities are getting called in both the classes. Okay, now I will again go back and we'll see this, how these callbacks will getting called. See, now the onPause of the music, then the onStart of the first activity, then onRestart, then onStart, then onResume, right? Then onStop of the music player dashboard activity. Now if I click on again, you can see again how it happens. See, this onPause happened of the first activity, then music play onCreate, then that music play onStart, then onResume, right? Now onResume means, yeah, after onResume our onStart method of the first activity happens. So this is what, to understanding how the callback happen in both the activity while the transition happens, if you can create a simple demo application and like this and just check, then you can get the more understanding on this. Why I am emphasizing this particular scenario, because this is for your implementation, for Android application implementation wise it is important, plus for interview also this part is very important. This is a very basic, in many interviews, basic level, every interviewer asks you this particular question, because they can understand your basic knowledge about your activity and activity transitions. So you can do your own, and you can understand it again by your own more, if you are creating a simple demo app by your own as well. Okay, so now we are in the second activity, right? In the second activity we have a play music button, and after click on this we will be going to the service. So service is the another component. The main job of service is to play any background task, long running background task without UI. Basically service is a component which is introduced in Android only to perform some long running operation which doesn't have any UI. Okay, but now there are two type of service, one is foreground service, one is background. We are using here the background service. In foreground service you can see some notification, that is, yeah, we will be going again in the another video, but this is all about the background service. Also a service has also this is actually 1 minute, this music play service is the service. Okay, this is what we have created, the service class. So a service is also has a life cycles, as similar to the, not exactly similar to the activity, but it has life cycle, very close similarity like the activity. Okay, so but I mean, so how you can understand this service lifecycle callbacks, because it has also like the first method you can see, onStart command. onStart command is the first method for the service. So this part I am leaving you up to you, because activity lifecycle you understand the diagram and you know how it happens. For service you try to understand by your own. If you are getting any issues, put your comments. I will be creating another video only specific to the service lifecycle callbacks, right? Okay, so for service we have put some code in the onStart command method, right? Basically this particular service is responsible to play a music. So we have used this media player object here, media player, right? So media player will be instantiated in this onStart command method, and we have put some some condition here. If the play is already started, we can show a music, and if it is not, we will be creating the object of the media player. And next one is the asset file descriptor. So basically we are playing this music from our local folder, we are not getting it from any remote server. So this particular audio file has been placed in the assets folder. Basically when we are creating an Android project in the Android Studio, this assets folder will not be there. So that need to be that need to be create just by click on this, right click in the app, and go to this folder, then assets folder, then it will be created. So inside this assets folder we have placed this jenny.mp3, this is a audio file, we just put it there, right. To access that audio file, this asset file descriptor object is being created. Asset file descriptor, this is the syntax of that asset file descriptor. And media player dot set data source, and it takes 3 parameters, the asset file descriptor and start offset and the length. Start offset means when the when we are building this project after the code completion. So in the we'll be getting a APK file, that is actually Android packaging kit, like we can get a APK file, that is what the final build will be installing into the mobile device. So in that, this media file will be also there in the APK file, right. So this file, this start offset is the address to notify to this media player like where the file location in the APK file, that is what this start offset is. And till how many bytes it will play, that is the length of this file descriptor. So it is very well for this media player data set data source object is being, all this data set is being now completed for the media player, right. Then after that, this asset file descriptor need to be closed, and next syntax is media player dot prepare and media player dot start. So these two methods need to be called sequentially as mentioned here, and this is what the media player it's a listener. When the play will be, the track will be completed, then automatically it will be stop, that is what the stop self. Stop self means it is the service, it is stop this service actually, okay. So stop self is a method for the service which will stop the service, right. Yeah. Now this is a start sticky is a property that tells the system to restart the service if it is getting killed. So there are some properties are available that will be understanding when in another video, if we are going to like check regarding the service lifecycle callbacks, okay. So you just understand how is service actually important as a core component, what is the job of the service, that is what I want to make you understand in this video, okay. So the destroy method is also a callback method for service. It has when the service will be stopped and will be destroyed, at that moment we need to clear this media player, right. We have to stop it, then release it, then it will be completely freed up, otherwise it will not feed up, and if in other screen you are using this media player, it will create a problem. So that for that thing, once the media player will be completed its job, it need to be cleaned up or cleared, okay. That is what it is mentioned here in the onDestroy method. Now we will be going to this music dashboard activity. Here how this component is getting started here, okay. Now here if you see, this is a on click listener. In the on click listener, we are basically start this music service and stop the music service, right. And what is happening exactly on the start music service, we are basically creating an intent. In the intent, basically intent is also a component of Android. It is like the job of the intent is to do something, okay. So intent, this is known as explicit intent. I will explain you more about intent in the another video. If you want to make an understand about intent, put your comments and I will be explaining very clearly about the intent part, okay. Now this intent is having two parameters, one is the context, another is the context means is the current object, and the second one is the target where it will go. So this is the music player service, right, and the start service method will just will take this intent and will start the service, right. It is just a syntax of the start service. Same way we can stop this service as well. So from this particular activity, we are just doing this two things. One is start and stop just by clicking this play button. Like if I click on this, you can see the audio music. Now I stop it. Okay, you can see the music is started. Okay, now after stop, the music service is stopped. So this is how I think we have understand what the activity and what the service actually doing here. This is an activity. After, if you see, I mean after clicking on this button, we are starting a service. Inside the service we are playing the music, but you can see there is no UI for the service. However, it is working, however the play is happening, but there is no I mean there is no UI for the service, but it is working, right? That is what the job of the service is. And okay, so we have now seen the activity, to activity and service and the manifest file. Now we will be going to the Gradle file. What are the dependencies this particular application has, right? So Gradle file is basically it is a module level Gradle file. Okay, there are two Gradle file, one is project level, one is module level, because we are basically focusing on this particular module. This is the default module. So we will be see like what are the dependencies, what are the structure in this Gradle file, right? It is very important to understand. And Gradle file is basically Gradle is the build system, right? This is the modern build system which is now used by many IDEs. IDEs means integrated development environment. So that is basically like Android Studio is IDE. In there are other development also. Gradle is now being used. Okay, so here if you see this Gradle file, there is first block, there is plugins. In the plugin we are there are two things has been taken. One is this Android application library and Kotlin library. These two things has been added in this plugins, which is actually the core part, right? Then we will be coming to this Android block. In the Android block, this is the Android block, right? So in the Android block, first one is the namespace, then compile SDK API label, and then default config. Compile SDK means it is the version in which we are compiling our application, right? That is what the API 36 is the API label. See, Android version and API label are both are different. Like API label is the unique number and Android version is a name, you can understand. Like Android 16 is the name of the version, but API label it has 36, right? So that is what basically program we have to use our API label numbers. We cannot use Android 16 here. That is actually a name, but the number for that is actually 36, right? Then Android this application ID is it's a unique it's a unique dot separated string which uniquely identify your application in the Play Store. That is what this application ID is. Like after your development, when you are uploading it to the Android Play Store, and there this will be your application will be uniquely identified using the help of application ID. And minimum SDK is 24, target SDK 36, version code is 1, version name is 1.0. These are basically minimum SDK is required because we want to run we have to target many devices like to install. So in that case we have to specify some minimum SDK. As per that it will target minimum of that particular SDK, and it will install all these devices which are having at least minimum 24 API label, like that only it is there. Okay, and this is a name and code. Target SDK is like that we are targeting some of the features in particular specific API label. So we can use that target SDK as well, right? Then Next one is build types. Build types is basically this is a release block, and we can have the debug block. So that is not mentioned, but in the release block is only here in that while we are creating the application, automatically this release block will be created. Inside this, each minify enable equal to false. I mean basically it is this property is helps to remove the unused classes when we are releasing this application. So now it is false. When we will be releasing, it need to be true as well. Okay, that is what there are some properties you just need some basic understanding of it. ProGuard file is actually it's a file which specifies how this shrinking will happen when we will be creating the release build. So that is a just it's a file which has all the description about how to make the shrink. So those things need to be described in that ProGuard file. Okay, and then next is some compile option. So this particular like Java version 11. So this is automatically specified and taken from the Android Studio itself. No need to worry about what version need to specify in if you are not doing it, if you are not changing it explicitly. Otherwise, it will automatically will be created. Build feature view binding equal to 2. This is important because we have initially we have taken that view binding from our XML file in the activity. So using the help of this particular block, this particular block, this particular library, view binding library or view binding block will basically helps to do that, to enable that particular view binding. Okay, now this is the dependencies block. So here we have taken all these libraries. So libs.androidx.code.ktx, then libs.androidx app compact. This is the material for all these UI we have created in the XML file. Constant layout is also we have used in the XML file. Navigation is for navigation from there is a fragment. There are two fragments are also exist in this application, which is not part of discussion. Just because of that, because of that two presence of fragment, this particular library is being used here, right? And then navigation is to navigate from the one fragment to another. That for that thing, this navigation UI ktx is also required. And for unit testing, we need this JUnit, libs.JUnit, that is also being used here. So this is all about the Gradle file dependencies, and not only dependencies, it has all other specifications what is required for this application. So this is basically very important file to build the application, right? So in this video we have understand 5 things. First one is the activity transition, like from activity first login activity to the dashboard activity. Then we have understand the life cycle callbacks in the login activity and music dashboard activity. Then we have understand the background service, like how it play the music, that we have understand. In the manifest file, these core components has been placed, like that also we have gone through the manifest file as well. Last we have seen the Gradle file dependencies and the basic structure of the Gradle file. So I hope you understand, and if any further clarification, please put your comments, and we'll be discussing if any particular doubt you have, and we'll be understanding more about it. So thank you for watching this video. I will see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.